Hi, salam. Welcome to the makeup chair. So today I'm going to be doing a pink defined eye. I've already applied my brow product, which is my brow pencil. I've shaped it out and then I fold it in and brush it out with a spoolie at the back of the brow pencil. I'm now going to carve out the brow with the soft matte concealer from NARS in the shade Praline, and I'm going to be using a flat brush and just carving out the brow to give it a very definitive neat look, and also brightening under the brow, above the brow, and using the concealer as a primer for the eyeshadow. Then I'm just going to blend out the concealer that I placed under the brow and above the brow. I'm starting at the top first because I want the bottom concealer to set a bit and give a more full cover. And I'm just patting it, dragging it downwards. When I did the top, I'm more blended upwards towards the forehead and the hairline. And on the lid, I'm patting it downwards and then blending it down. I'm going to take more concealer and just cover the rest of the eyelid space on both eyes. And the brush that I'm using is on the other side of the Smashbox brush. It's slightly more fluffy, so it gives me a nice blend of the product. I am now going to set the concealer with the NARS light reflecting translucent crystal powder, saturating the brush and gently just blending it all over the concealer to set the concealer and also prep the eye for the eyeshadow. The eyeshadow will now be more intense, but it also blend easily because of the powder that is on top of the concealer. And I'm first going to go in with a dusty pink shade. I'm using one of my Bobbi Brown palettes. And I'm focusing on the outer C or V of the eye and slightly higher than my crease because I want to create a new open eye look. So I'm creating a new crease. I do have a slightly hooded lid. And I'm applying it with a fluffy brush. And gently blending it inwards, not all the way into the corner. And that's the palette over there, and I'm using that dusty pink shade at the bottom. Once again, higher than my natural crease, blending it out. To create a new crease. Keeping it on the outer corner of the eye. Almost say half of the lid on the outside, and then just doing a soft blend towards the nose, but not all the way in. You can go back in with as much eyeshadow as you want to get the intensity that you want. As you can see, I'm holding the brush quite far at the end of the brush because I want a nice soft natural application and not too harsh of color, so I have a bit more control. And I'm not pressing hard with the brush on the eye. Now I'm going to go in with the same brush with a slightly more deeper, brighter pink. And I'm going to apply this a little bit closer to the outer corner of the eye. Concentrating the color in that area just to build a bit more depth and definition. Still going above my natural crease and outwards. I'm creating that V lifted shape. Once again, keeping it on the outer edge of the eye. Just increasing intensity. And if you've noticed, I've moved my hand slightly higher up on the brush. towards the bristles, just to give a bit more depth but still control on the application. And I'm just buffing it outwards into that V shape. Now I've taken a smaller brush, slightly smaller, fluffier brush with a tapered point, slightly tapered point, and I'm just going to use that darker maroon. And now I'm really going to focus on the outer corner. Slowly blending it and keeping the shape in the C/V to keep that intensity. And I've now completely changed the shape of the eye to make it look like I have more space due to that hooded lid. Just blending it above the crease but keeping it on that outer V area. And don't be scared to blend back and forth with the brush. It works. Gives a nice seamless finish. Going in with a little bit more as I see the one side is a bit more intense. So always look from side to side when you're busy with your eyeshadows to double check if you have enough intensity on either side of the eye and there is a balance of color. Now I'm going to go back in with the first brush that I used on the first shade in the dusty pink, the lightest pink, and I'm just going to merge and blend the edge of those eyeshadows together, dusting it lightly, very lightly. Once again, my hand is more at the edge of the brush, just blending it into the crease and on the edge of the color, so we have a more balanced look and no harsh lines. So whenever you see any harsh lines, don't be scared to go back in with the lightest color that you started with, just to soften the eyeshadow and bring more of a blend. I'm now going to use my finger and apply the shadow. So this shadow has got a, I don't know how to explain, but it's got a wettish feel to it, and it's like a goldy pink. And I'm just pressing it onto the beginning of the eye, lightly touching it on the pink first color eyeshadow and into the corner of the eye, and slightly higher than my crease because I want to open the eye. Once again, I love using my finger for any shimmer shade so it doesn't fall down onto the face. And just keep on pressing until you get the desired intensity of your shimmer or your glitter if you were using glitter, which you could use as well. Today I'm not doing glitter, I'm just doing a soft shimmer. Just checking the balance, see if we have the same amount on each side. Once you finish the top of your eye, you always want to create balance at the bottom. I'm going in with that first pink shade just under the waterline into the lash line at the bottom, blending it in, pushing it outwards to my natural shape of the bottom lid, just flicking it out and creating dimension in the same steps that I use the shade on top on the lid. I'm doing the same shade at the bottom. Now I'm keeping closer to the edge of the eye with a stronger, warmer, brighter pink. Still keeping it at the edge now and flicking it outwards, following the eye line of the lower lid. And then lastly, taking that warmer pinky burgundy shade and focusing even more on the edge of the eye and just flicking it out and intensifying the top of the lid with the same shade and keeping it only on the edge because I only want to keep my eye open. I do not want to close it with any eyeshadow. Same thing on the outer side, just dragging it out and intensifying the top lid with the same shade. Once again, don't be scared to go back in. You see any gaps in color, just to make sure that it's blended well and has enough balance. Now you can see the shape of my eye is slightly longer than what it used to be due to the eyeshadow application. I'm going back in with that first pinky shade just to balance and blend in the color with the shimmer and the pinks. I'm now going in with my NARS liquid liner. The tip of this is very sharp, and I'm just keeping in my natural eyeline, keeping it straight because I got a slightly hooded eye and I don't want the wing to disappear. And as you can see, I'm doing it with an open eye, looking into the mirror without lifting or pulling, so you can see exactly where that liquid liner is going to lay when your eye is open. And I'm just gonna bring it into the corner of the eye and blend it in, so I have no harsh edge line. And I'm going to do exactly the same to the other side. Sorry guys, I see now. There we go. I'm just keeping it straight, not too angled. Once again, I have a hooded lid. If I make it too angled, it's going to disappear. And I'm keeping the line quite thin and close to the lash line. And I'm just merging the edge to be in line with the bottom eye line. It's a nice defined soft wing. I'm going back into the bottom lash line with a NARS eyeshadow stick in Mind Games. It's a beautiful mulberry burgundy brown shade, and I'm just intensifying a little bit lower than where I put the eyeshadow, close to the lash line but a little bit lower than the eyeshadow. This color's also got a bit of a sheen to it, and it makes my eye color pop. Next step, I'm going to go in with a bit of concealer and apply it on the edge of the eye. The only reason why I'm putting it only there is because I'm not going to be doing a foundation look for the day. I'm just going to be doing my eyes for you guys today. So I apply the concealer there. I'm going to let it dry down a bit and apply my mascara. Once again, I do not ever use any false lashes, lash extensions, strip lashes for myself or my clients for religious reasons. And I'm going to do my lash application method like I normally do, where I go to the base of the lashes and wiggle it upwards to give length and extend each lash. And I'm going to go back and forth between the eyes to give it time to get sticky, so I can do the second layer on each eye, because sticky grips wet but wet removes wet. So just give your eye enough time to get sticky before you apply the second layer. So I like to go back and forth between layers on the different eyes. Messed a bit there, but here's a nice tip. When you mess on your face with mascara, let it dry down completely. Do not try to remove it while it's wet. Mascara is meant to stick on hairs, i.e. your lashes or your brows. It is not meant to stick on skin. So once it is completely dry, it will just peel off from the skin and leave no black residue or any mark on the skin or on your foundation. Second layer. And as you can see, it grips quite nicely because it's sticky now, and the second layer grips. Like I said before, I love to take my time with my lashes. because I don't do strip lashes or lash extensions, but just take your time, lifting them, building the volume. So now I'm going to take an angled brush and just blend in that concealer, and I'm going to use the concealer to define the edge of the eye and create that nice defined lifted eye look. Just want to pat the concealer, and then blend it downwards. Once again, I'm not going to be doing foundation, under eye concealer, any of those things. So I'm just taking what's left on the eye and blending it out so we don't have a too bright line there. And the same on the other side, keeping it at that angle to lift the eye and give that nice definition. Pat, pat, give the coverage, and then just blending it downwards. And I'm going to be setting that with the NARS Light Faking Translucent Crystal Press Powder. Once again, always press the powder into the back of your hand, into the brush to saturate it so you don't have too much product. And I'm going to apply mascara on the bottom lashes just to balance out the eye. And when you're doing your bottom lashes, you just want to tap, 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 tap till you get the lashes coated. Tap, tap, tap. And there we go, a nice defined pink eye eyeshadow look. The blend is blending, the eye is lifted. Hope you enjoyed.